Just officiate it correctly. That's all.
Cry about it. You can't have this take.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you in a second. Meanwhile, what did the Cowboys prove in their explosive win over the Giants? And why did Coach spend so much of our valuable airtime convincing us that the Giants' defense was going to be great? Some of us went out to FanDuel.
It's only
We're
game
DraftKings.
two. Only game
sorry.
two.
I went out to FanDuel and said, I'm not going here, I'm going to DraftKings.
Only game two.
Meanwhile, right now we're talking about the Chiefs. They dropped to 0-2. Mahomes loses 3 straight for the first time in his career. Last time the Chiefs were 0-2, 2014.
Yeah, Andy's first year.
The last 6 times they were 0-2, they missed the playoffs.
Okay, that means.
Well, Fox NFL tweeted it, and I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Here's Andy Reid.
Brody Croyle was the quarterback. Go.
I'll take full responsibility for that game. Probably say too aggressive on that, and that's my responsibility. It's important against that crew that you stay aggressive. I probably could dial up some different things there, but I think against them you've got to do that.
Dial it up. What's wrong with the Chiefs?
Right now, a handful of things. And this isn't a spot you want to be in. Week 1, I said the thing that concerned me was their overall pass defense, inability to generate a pass rush, and ability to, cover on the back end. I can't really even definitively say if they got better at that this week because Philly was not interested in throwing the ball down the field at all. So I don't know, was that because guys recovered? It's just not what they want to do. And the way they generated a pass rush this game was send everybody. You know what I mean? Which actually has been a pretty decent strategy against the Philly offense specifically, but against other quarterbacks, that can really burn you. So that, that's a concern. I think right now, for reasons I don't totally understand, they have the least effective running game in the league. Just if you remove, and the numbers totally back that up if you remove Patrick running.
Yeah.
So they have been, and I hate seeing Patrick run the ball in September. Never seen it, don't want to see it. Part of what I think has made him, part of what makes him so special is that he always has, one of the reasons, let me put it like this, he gets so much better in the playoffs, even though he's been so good in regular seasons, is he's had this thing in his back pocket all year that he saves for the playoffs. He is now activating it because what he is seeing is we're not having any success moving the ball otherwise. So that's a short list, and I could go deeper. Do I think it all gets fixed by Rice and Worthy coming back, Worthy first and then Rice? No, I don't think that all gets fixed. Do I think a lot of that gets fixed by that? Yes, I do. And do I think that there is the silver lining, if you will, is I think that the Chiefs have played poorly overall in huge stretches of both of these games. And yesterday's game, I think they should have won if they didn't shoot themselves in the foot. And week 1, they could have stolen. You know what I mean? And so that's where I'm at on it. But this isn't a team right now that looks scary. What's scary about them is who they are and the fact that they play in the Super Bowl every year, and they're still holding a Super Bowl this year. But right now, it's fair to criticize them from that performance because that was a winnable game at home that they wanted. And again, it's disrespectful to Philly say they gave it away, but it was in the balance. You could have taken it, and they didn't take it.
Yeah, I think it's way too early to write the Chiefs obituary, and let's be realistic about this game.
Thanks.
So first of all, the first 2 games they've lost by a combined 7 points.
Yeah, great point.
Against a playoff team and against the defending Super Bowl champions. Okay, in this last game, they miss a field goal early by Butker, so that's 3 points. They get stopped on 4th and 1, which then leads to a field goal at the end of the half. So there's another 3 points. Kelsey drops the ball. That's in the red zone, gets returned to the 40. That leads to a touchdown. That's a 10-point swing. They can't run the ball. We've talked about that. That's something that can be improved they're going to have to commit to it more than they have, and I think they should commit to it more than they have because he's getting pressured 12 times the first week and 11 times this past week. Okay, that's the level that Mahomes has been pressured, which is one of the higher rates in the league. But to me, the biggest problem is on 3rd down. They're 26th in the league right now on 3rd down conversions, which, again, It's addressable. It's fixable. Do I think they're going to be top 5 in third down? No, but they can be a lot better than they are.
But even last year when the offense struggled, the one place they were great was third down.
Yeah, so it's not like they don't know how to do it. It's not like they haven't been successful at it. They're not doing it very well right now. So as much as everybody is hoping and dreaming that the Chiefs are dead, they played 2 really good teams. They lost 2 one-score games, which historically they've won, but that's not a sustainable formula. The fact that they won that many games in a row, to me, is amazing. So you better hope that you can kill them before they get to the playoffs, because if this team gets in the playoffs, we can say what they want, but you don't want that dude lining up in the playoffs because you're in trouble.
I'd also like them to force a turnover. It's been a while since the Chiefs forced a turnover, which would be helpful. Go ahead, Coach.
No, I agree, Coach. I mean, I think they're still going to make the playoffs and are a contender for the Super Bowl. So I think they're fine in that regard. But I think their biggest problem right now has been and you guys mentioned offensive things.
Yeah.
Like the defense obviously wasn't great in the first week, but they gave up 27 points. Like you can win when you hold a team to 27 points, particularly if you got Mahomes and Kelsey. Then yesterday they held them to 20 points. Like, so the offense just hasn't been what we've expected or what we thought. Like, we're talking about a light show. It obviously hadn't been close to that. And I got to say it, I don't think Mahomes is playing well throwing the ball. He's playing well overall because of his running. Like, he's running well, but most of his great plays are runs. The second throw, the touchdown to Tyquan Thornton was good, but obviously he missed him before that. And these are Mahomes' ranks right now, stats and ranks in the league as far as passing. Like, I mean, that's just completely un-Patrick Mahomes. Like, even last year. Like, last year's numbers were way better than that. And we know he came into this season like it's going to be different now.
And we also recognize that the Chargers were one of the best teams defensively in the NFL last season.
They were the best team last year.
And Philadelphia was one of the best teams in the NFL last season. So
no,
it's not like he's playing against.
No,
but he is.
But
Patrick Mahomes.
And
like
he also, to Bruce's point,
standard.
missed his first real pass of the game to Noah Gray.
Yep.
Missed the one wide open Tyquan Thornton that you get over it because he then made it to Tyquan Thornton. That still cost him 40 seconds. Listen, I thought he played really. Brew and I kind of disagreed on this, I guess. I thought he played really well in week 1. I thought, yes.
But wasn't his running?
Yes,
like, I think his run, and I get it. That's a part of it.
Yeah.
But I think he's been running it really well. I don't think he's been throwing it that
what
way.
I was going to say is I thought in week 2 I thought he had some moments but didn't play as well as he did in week 1.
I think for the first time in a long time, Patrick Mahomes was pressing. I think that game was really important to him. And the reason that he ran the ball the way he did yesterday and lowered his shoulders was because of how important that game was to him. And typically nothing good comes from when you press. But he wanted to avoid the 3-game losing streak. He wanted to avenge the Super Bowl loss. The game was at home. For the first time in a long time, I watched a game where I thought, oh, he's pressing, and that's not who he is. He doesn't need to.
So that might be the answer that I was looking for on the Tyquan Thornton miss. I don't think when you look at his stats that every miss is the same. I felt like this Tyquan Thornton miss was a quarterback throwing the ball that I just don't recognize. The old Mahomes, and we have the graphics and the long shots.
Makes it 1,000 out of 1,000 times.
Yeah, like he always hits that. And then a few plays later, he did hit it. But this one struck me as just strange. So maybe, and I was looking for an answer, and maybe it's pressing. Otherwise, like, what started flow? It's like, is he hurt? Like, those are the first thing when people start to do uncharacteristic stuff.
You're saying with him running now, I mean, that's...
That's
in the same ball.
I think he's frustrated.
But Nick talked about it. He typically runs in the playoffs when it's crucial.
Yeah.
And that's why when I saw him run as much as he did and do the things he did when he was running with the ball, it felt like this game to him is more important than most of the regular season games that he played.
3 games, your running backs are running backs, beloved.
Yeah.
120 yards in the last 3 games, including the Super Bowl.
But this year, he's their leading rusher by 76 yards.
Yeah. I mean,
nobody else has 50 yards.
And nobody can have a long run. Like, no, that part's really frustrating. With all that said, and I'm curious, like, KW,
Yeah.
I won't use this against you in the future,
Definitely
I promise.
Yeah, you will.
I felt that entire game that Kansas City was going to win until the Kelsey interception. That's unfair to Travis. The interception off.
but
it was the Mahomes interception. You guys understand that? In that moment, I'm like, oh my God, they're not. But like the pacing of it was, to me, felt like a lot of Chiefs games last year where it was like they don't look, you know what I mean? They don't look good, but they're going to find a way to be right there. What I wanted to ask you was, as someone who had a lot of take capital built up in this game and all of it, did you feel the opposite?
I never felt like the Chiefs were going to win.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
It's weird. And that's like a lot of, I know this is not like savvy analysis, but it reminds me of like, and I want to be like, hey, this fighter can still knock you out. Like, it didn't feel like, a little supernatural funky.
I was similar to that. I felt the Chiefs. I was a little surprised it was that close. I picked it being 10. I mean, 10 in the blowout.
I never
but
felt like the Eagles were stressed.
I thought the Chiefs had a chance. Like, I was like, okay, they're right there. But I felt confident the Eagles were going to win that game.
Lots of tush pushing in the game. Eagles ran the play 11% of the time. Chris Jones was not happy. Here he was after the game on the tush push. Take a listen.
You know, sometimes can't get them all the calls right. And just because we see it, sometimes the official is 15, 20 feet away. Sometimes he can miss those small things. And we think he jumped multiple times. So an official didn't see it, so it wasn't called. And, you know, we just got to go play the next down.
All right, listen. You guys know I have, for the 8 years of this show, I don't complain about officiating. And I'm not complaining about officiating. The Chiefs lost that game because the greatest tight end I've ever seen and a universally regarded top 3 tight end ever dropped a ball. And by the way, that he dropped a ball in week 1, says he ran the wrong route in week 1. Xavier got hurt. It's been a rough opening season for that. You guys also know that well before the Eagles were the Chiefs' rival, well before they had played in any Super Bowls, well, certainly years before they had ever beaten the Chiefs in a Super Bowl, I've hated this play.
True.
I have said I think that it's not a football play. It's bad for TV. Roger Goodell agrees with me. 22 of the 31 other teams in the league agree with me. We now know Tom Brady seems to agree with me, and Dean Blandino definitely agrees with me. What I would ask of the league is if there is a play that is controversial enough that you have 2 separate votes on whether or not you should allow it, and more than half of your league says no, make sure you're not only allowing it, but allowing them to run that play with more leniency in the rules than any other play of the game.
Sure.
The center is not allowed to have his entire shoulders and head in front of the ball any snap of the game, except for the Eagles when they run the tush push. Guards, you get a false start for being a tackle that does this. Guards firing off the ball a half second before the play is not allowed in any play of the game except this. And it is already hard enough to stop. Where it becomes impossible to stop is when it is run that way. And I think that's the frustration. And I do think, Coach, that because Brady pointed it out and then Blandino